Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and today I want to forage for hornbeam seeds. Carpinus betulus, the European hornbeam of the family Betulaceae. It's quite common throughout Europe, well into West Asia, but I've never heard before about it being foraged. However, when I checked online, the sources agree that the seeds are edible. Even the German sources say that the seeds are edible, and usually the Germans are not very fast to agree that something is edible. Like with the hop hornbeam, the American hop hornbeam is apparently being harvested by Native Americans and frontiersmen. However, the European hop hornbeam is not considered edible. But with this one, the European hornbeam, even the German sources say it's edible. A lot of the fruits have fallen to the ground. I'm not sure if those are the first fruits which are being shed by the tree, the bad unpollinated fruits, or if they are random good quality fruits. If you are lazy and want to forage big amounts, you just look for a small country road. Here, as you can see, the wings have been crushed and separated from the seeds. They have been blown to the side, and here in the middle basically you can use a little broom to scoop up just the part which contains the edible seed. Well, I mean, if you now it's pretty warm. I'm walking around pretty topless, but I guess in a cold autumn you could also collect everything and bring it home, and at least in a traditional setting you would have something to put into your chimney. I guess those hornbeam wings are pretty good for starting a fire. Okay, now about the hornbeam seed. Not all of this is edible. This is still enclosed in a hard shell. Why is nobody collecting it around here? Well, autumn is basically a time of plenty. And if you compare the size of those little hornbeam seeds, they're even falling between the grapes. If you compare them, well, let's do it like this. A walnut, the most popular nut in Germany, compared to the size of those hornbeam seeds, or hazelnuts, which grow even in cold climates, or around here most important of all, chestnuts. They are very small this year, but still 100-200 times bigger than hornbeam seeds. So nobody around here would even get the idea to collect those. I guess they are more interesting in colder, rougher areas, big forest areas where you don't have, well, where the climate is colder and you don't have chestnuts and people have not planted walnuts, and even the hazelnuts will be quite scarce in big forest areas. So, yeah, small nuts, but everybody agrees they are edible, even the Germans. That's a good sign. Now, let's see how to extract something edible from this. I mean, quite tough. Cracking them like sunflower seeds did not work very well. I bit it in half. Yeah, the white stuff inside is edible. However, the edible part is so small that I basically only taste wood. It tastes more or less like tea. It would be the same if you chew a little bit of wood. Let's try it again. The seeds have a nutty flavor, but all I taste is the shell. It's not unpleasant. It tastes like pleasant wood or tea, but it's not what I want. So getting huge amounts of this stuff, or significant amounts of this stuff, is not too difficult. Collecting thousands of those in an hour, no problem, as long as you don't try to collect them one by one and separate them one by one. Basically, if you do this here, you end up with a lot. And I guess, yeah, collecting a couple kilograms of this in a day is not a big problem. But then what to do with them? So eating them like this, nah, it really doesn't cut it. Then maybe cut them in half with a knife. You'll end up with bloody fingers, and you will expend many times more energy than you would get from those tiny nuts. Then maybe, well, some sources even in Germany say they taste even better when roasted. Well, if they crack open when they are roasted, good. That could be an idea. Maybe I should collect a little bag full of those and try to roast them and see if they crack. But even when they crack, this tiny thing inside is almost nothing. It's a fraction of the size of a sunflower seed. And I wouldn't really consider anything smaller than a sunflower seed worth foraging, not even in a survival situation. Maybe put them through an oil mill, but when you crack them, I think this big shell will absorb most of the oil. Yeah, you could heat the oil or use chemicals you could heat the mixture or use chemicals to extract the oil, but not really worth the trouble. You could feed them to pigs or chickens, but I'm not even sure if the gizzard of a chicken would manage to remove the skin. It's quite thick and tough. And feeding them to pigs, well, throughout Europe we have oaks, and there are still millions of pigs being fattened on those oaks in autumn. You just drive the pigs into the oak forest and then bring them out a couple months later. But I haven't even heard about pigs being very fond of those. So yeah, for now it was a fail. I mean, yeah, we had a couple years of drought. Everything is quite small. But still, those hornbeams, they have a bumper crop. There are lots of seeds. I don't think they are much smaller than they are supposed to be. And still, I have no idea what to do with them. Yeah, collecting a decent sized bag full of them, no problem. But I could collect a much bigger bag full of the much tastier and much easier to process chestnuts. Yeah, right now I'm going to forage for some gas at the gas station, if you're asking. So yeah, well, let's see here. There is a really big one. No, still the seed is tiny. Even maple seeds, which I want to try to forage today, should be much more worth foraging. Or pine seeds. This is the Scots pine, which usually I don't consider worth foraging because of the small size, but even they would be easier to process than hornbeam seeds. So folks, please tell me, what do you think? How to forage those things, how to process them, how to eat them so that you get any benefit out of them. Tell me if you know what to do with them. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful and incredibly fruit-rich city of Heidelberg. Well, here we are coincidentally in the fruit and wine growing part of the city. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.